Happy Friday, everyone. This is Angela Sasser, and I'll be streaming a character portrait tonight. It's Friday, and I thought I'd get some sketching in. And each month I do some sketches for my Patreon patrons who have pledged to me at the Sketch Collector tier, and I've gotten some really fun characters, such as this Empress here, Empress Amelia. And tonight I'm gonna draw her sister, Saline, I think is how you say her name, her younger sister, and I've been given a description beforehand, so I'm gonna see if I can't make a character come to life just from the description I've got, the brief. And she's described as a warrior that has some of the elegance of her older sister here, but more of a martial focus. So we'll see if I can capture that. And I've only got an hour to do so we'll see how this goes. So I'll be on the mic if you guys have questions. I'm gonna keep myself muted so you don't hear all my clicks and taps. Get my references pulled up here. Yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them in the chat and I will answer them on my mic. So let's get drawing. She's described as using a two-handed sword, so I'm gonna keep this sword reference in here. I also want to try and make this match the style of her sister's portrait, because it'd be pretty cool if they were matching. And then I like the idea of her having a braid instead, since it's very utilitarian for a warrior, I think. So let's see what magic happens. Oh, an intro for me if you don't know who I am. I'm a fantasy artist and illustrator and published author. I did the art book Angelic Visions. And you can see more of my art at angelasasser.com. I'll link it in the chat. And again, if you have any questions while I'm going, just leave them in the chat and I'll answer them. So, yes, art. Let's do that now. Oh, cool. So can you actually hear the music right now? Because I know before the music was barely audible when it came to my voice. So hopefully I've got it all balanced out now. Let's see if I have the art mojo tonight. Oh, and time to put on my timer. Now for these sketches, I'm trying to teach myself to work a little bit faster than I usually do. I'm pretty detail oriented. So I like to start with a really quick gesture sketch, and that's what I'm going to do now. And this is basically feeling out the forms, getting the energy of the pose first, and not being too concerned about all the details. And I'm trying to emulate the look of her sister's portraits, but also include her symbolic element. Like her sister has the crown here, And I want to make room here for the two-handed sword. Like maybe she has it clutched in her hands. Hey there, is that the creator of the characters or another person with the lion-themed name? Oh, well, now the pressure's on to make this good for you, now that you're watching. Hopefully I can make some magic happen. Hey, lots of people on tonight. Who knew not streaming in the middle of a workday would actually bring more people in? Thanks for spending your Friday nights with me. I feel special. I'm trying to do like that open collar look. She seems like the kind of character who's laid back and badass. So I'm trying to capture that kind of like serious, carefree. It seemed like an interesting mix. Like she's really good at her job, but she knows she's maybe not as serious as her sister, was the impression I got. So military uniform with a open collar. Even though I'm kind of bullshitting a uniform here. Uniform's gotta have like a whole bunch of buttons and straps, right? Although funny, when I was trying to think of a uniform, I immediately thought of the really snazzy outfits from Full Metal Alchemist. All the alchemists have these like really badass watches with the chain attached to them and all of this stuff, so I thought of that. Funny how that gets in your brain. I just tried to wipe eraser dust off of this because I'm so used to making that motion when I'm sketching in my art pad that I just kind of automatically, whenever I erase, make a swiping motion. I just thought I'd let you guys know because it's kind of sad. Muscle memory, it's hard to break sometimes. And I think military uniforms have to have gloves too. It totally needs some gloves here. Hey, do you guys have any fun plans for the weekend? I'm gonna do a yard sale, because I live on the edge. Oh my god, tea festival? That sounds amazing. I would love that. I love to just smell tea. Like, we have Teavana here, and I just go in there and I look at all the pretty teaware and kettles and cups and whatnot and just smell their loose leaf tea. I am quite jealous. Okay, so I have kind of a general idea blocked in here, so now I'm just gonna start blocking in the large shapes with the hard round brush. I generally work pretty simply. I rely on just the basic brushes, because you can get a lot of good effects just with the basic brushes. Especially for blocking in the hard round, keeps your edges nice and clean. So here we go, blocking in. I'm sure Georgia has to have a tea festival. I'd be surprised if we didn't. We've just never thought to look it up. And how'd I know you have video games planned? And we have Dungeons and Dragons. That's a worthy plan. I'm gonna name this layer before I accidentally paint over it. You've been meaning to get back round to Octopath for a while. I'm never gonna see my husband again. There are so many paths to explore. So many sad backstories. I kind of want to get into that game, but then I know I would not be seen again for about 6 months. Kind of like what happened with me in Final Fantasy Tactics. I would have started with the hunter chick too, just because archery chicks are cool. Although the dancer story from the demo was really, really awesome in Octopath. I was like, what are these little sprites doing telling such a Game of Thrones-like story? I loved it though. You don't see a character with her skill set as a main character that often, so I really enjoyed it. So another reason I need to play. Actually, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and use the same background from Amelia's portrait, because I think that that background would tie them both together. It'd be really cool. I'm cheating. Oh, you guys should also know that Kaioshade is evil. It's my evil husband, who's also our DM. So, all my character pain, you can blame on him. It is his fault. And mostly that Dungeons and Dragons Exalted's a whole other DM's fault. Okay, there's the basic block in, and now we have 39 minutes to have fun adding details and shading to the rest, so let's do it! And that's true, he's not actually that evil. My warlock, after all, ended up not being indentured to a demon, but actually drawing upon her own inner power. So that's pretty cool. She's kind of like an interesting custom warlock where her power was unlocked from within by someone she thought was a demon patron, but was actually her father. It's so hard to explain, but it's pretty fun. Her father being a book. So the book she was carrying around all the time that was supposed to be from her patron was actually her father. Oop, and now I'm going to isolate each of these solid forms, these blocked in colors, as you can see without the sketch, and add some details and lines to them. That's the great thing about Photoshop, is that you can sit here and block the transparent pixels, so I can come back in here and draw all over this, and it'll only mark on the layer instead of the background. So that's a really fun trick for you. anyone interested in a digital workflow. It just saves so much time. So right now I'm just coming back in and picking out the important lines. And I'm also going to turn transfer on so that when I'm making my lines, they'll have a little more transparency to them and a little more subtlety, so they're not just hard plastic edges anymore. So what transfer does, for those who don't know, is that it means that the harder I press, the harder my lines will be, but the softer I press, they'll be lighter. But apparently I've drawn on the wrong layer, so now I gotta figure out where did I color in the wrong place. This happens to me all the time. But yeah, my D&D Warlock's a lot of fun. She's, I'm hoping we can work on making her a custom class where she actually masters different sentient books and taps into the spells in each one, like switches between them in battle, to where she has all these books floating around her and can channel spells and abilities from each of them. Like, syncing with one book gives her a certain buff during battle, and syncing with more books at one time is more difficult for her. That's where I'm hoping the concept leads, because I always thought that was really cool. So we'll see where it goes. It's been really fun playing with some custom Warlock stuff. Like, Warlocks are just really interesting classes. They have a lot of story hooks to them. Oh, and I realized I like stopped in the middle of explaining opacity transfer. So basically it allows me my softer strokes to be more translucent and my harder strokes to be more opaque. It is very handy. Oh, so Kevin, does this mean that we can go Bibliomancer? Because that would be awesome. I know we were kind of toying with it, but we never really got there in game. Yeah, the only problem is trying to balance how that's gonna work. Because you never know if it's truly balanced until you're just OP soloing some bosses. But please let me do something more than just Eldritch Blast. Oh my god. I love playing a Warlock, but it does get one note sometime where I'm like, I guess I'll cast Eldritch Blast. I'm the Eldritch Blast machine. Oh no, the graphics card update has ruined my rotate. So I can't rotate the canvas. This happens with every update. I'll have to troubleshoot it later. So now I have to like adjust myself to the Cintiq to make the right strokes here. Trying to make her neck a little more muscular because she's kind of got that elegant, thin elf neck that I always draw on my Elvis characters. It's kind of a bad habit. Hey, remind me what color this character's eyes are again. Dark or light? Or blue or brown or etc, etc. I cannot remember. Oh, okay, so it's not just my brain being weird. Alright, so let's go light with these eyes. And yeah, we went from 3.5 all the way to 5. It was such a change. We hadn't played since college, really. So coming back to it, I really loved the streamlined experience of the game. Like, I hate math. I'm more of an RP person. So the fact that they've stripped it down to like just simple, here's your skill, here's your modifier, presto, you have your role, you know? I really like that. Hey, the frying pan, you have the best username. Do I know you online? What's your artist name? If you are an artist, or if you are a person I know, let me know. But I did think you had the best username. Oh, that's where that username comes from. Ha. So how do you know me, Frying Pan, or do I know you on Facebook? Or do you prefer to remain a mystery? Nope, computer. I don't need a break. You're not the boss of me. that would be really cool to see. Because I've actually been curious how one gets into matte painting and that kind of thing. And I think I don't see a lot of people doing that kind of stream on Facebook, or on Twitch rather. So yeah, go for it. Let's invade this gaming space with all the art. Yeah, I think most of the art streamers I've watched, granted I haven't watched a lot to be fair, I've been doing stuff like me, like character illustration and whatnot, so yes, that would be cool to see. Yeah, just keep streaming and you'll build the, you know, if you build it, they will come. I don't stream very regularly. I'm trying to get better about that, which is why I'm on right now. So just keep at it. They will come. And also, like, try hashtags in your title so that people know that you're either from, like, ArtStation or DeviantArt, or that you're using Photoshop, etc. That helps get people into the channel who are interested in those kind of software and techniques and stuff. And also I think it does help to have someone talking if you can manage it. Sometimes I just come on here and do like a silent stream with music and type in the chat, because sometimes I'd rather just like focus on what I'm doing. But I'm trying to get better about multitasking, which has been my biggest challenge for streaming, because I find it very difficult to sit here and draw and also make words happen. I don't know how some people do it. It's crazy. And also there's that pressure of, oh my god, what if my drawing sucks? Especially when I'm doing spontaneous stuff like this, I have no idea if it's gonna work out. I just have to have confidence that it's going to, and that's tough. Right now she doesn't have a shirt on under this jacket, so I should maybe give her a shirt. I keep trying to rotate, but I can't. Curse you, NVIDIA! Okay, so I've got most of the important lines in now, and I've got... How much time do I have to start adding some shading? 13 minutes and 34 seconds to make some shading happen here, so let's do it! The rotate that I like to use is the one up here on my Wacom, so I can just use the slider to rotate the angle more quickly than the R button, because I don't like to have to pull out my keyboard holder and hit R and then move it and then push the keyboard holder back. So this messes with my workflow when I can't use the slider, and I just updated it before I turned on the stream, and I should have tested it first, but it's okay. I can survive without rotate for a few minutes. And yeah, I have a Cintiq 21 UX. It's kind of an older model, but I just can't work any way else now. Like, I'm just used to the way all the hot buttons and whatnot. Couldn't live without this thing. It's funny how that works, because I absolutely hated it when I used a regular, oh god, what did I use? An Intuos, I think? It was difficult. But making curves and whatnot was just such a pain in the butt for using the regular tablet. So when I could actually see my curves and use the motion of my hand, that was just so much more natural to me. I just cannot do it any other way now. I started out with like a old ass Graphire back in the day. Oh man, I don't know how I worked on that thing. Then I upgraded slowly over the years to an Intuos. And then my first Cintiq was like a little 12WX. And it was so little, but I managed to get everything done. I had to work on multiple monitors, but it ended up working out. And this is a new method of shading I've been trying out lately, where you use the adjustment layers to control the shadow shapes. So I'm just kind of masking where I want shadows and highlights. Seems to be working out so far to just get a basic shading in really quickly. And then I can even come back and control the depth of the shadow. It's pretty cool. So right now I'm just trying to think of you know, cast shadows. If the light's coming above from her, since I'm kind of going for a spotlighting like on her sister, she'd have that cast shadow under her neck. And I think being able to work this way helps me kind of sculpt the shadow until it feels right. masking is the best invention. I loves it. Although I can tell I'm gonna want to keep working on this one. It's the only thing. It is a sketch, Angela. Whoa, do I actually have 7 viewers up in here? Awesome! People are watching me! Oh no, people are watching me! Judgment. Now, one thing I have to do before time's up is add some shine to the eyes, because I love adding that shine, because it instantly brings some life to your character. So let's do some highlights real fast. It just automatically makes everything look more finished and more lively. Just adds life. The eyes are the life. And just think of the eyes as like kind of a big, glistening, moist orb in your head, because that's basically what they are. And your tear ducts have like a little reflection in them too sometimes. Let's not make her eyes too moist though, because then she looks like she's crying. So. Or she's got dust or allergies or something. I also like a little a glint of highlighting on the nose. It's kind of a stylistic thing with me, and also I think because you have a little more grease and larger pores on your nose, so it tends to, again, another thing that brings the life to brings the face to life, and just adds a nice finishing touch. So there, I've got some highlights in this, so I can, even if I don't finish this to the point that I would want to call this completely polished, since it's just a sketch, I'll at least have those highlights in, which make me happy. Yeah, dropping in knowledge. I gotta make this channel, like, smart and relevant and stuff. Like, I know what I'm doing. Though I swear every picture still feels like an accident. It's like, oh hey, that worked out. Of course I knew what I was doing. Again, I'm trying to remove eraser dust that is not there. See, actually, drawing this way is a direct reaction against my Art Nouveau drawing, because I'm trying to break my habit of, like, adding detail in every little thing. So this is me trying to learn that it's okay to not put, like, buttons and paint every edge, go for expressionism. And it's working out. I'm having fun with it. Highlights everywhere. I am kind of amazed at how much you can infer with just a few well-placed darks and lights and getting those strong highlights and shadow shapes. Value grouping, that's what I'm looking for. So this new method I've been trying has been kind of exciting because, wow, what I can get done in an hour is so much more than what I would usually do in the really meticulous ink style with the Art Nouveau that I normally do. So this is kind of awesome to try this method and, excuse me, and like see results that don't take months, because those pieces often took me a month or more depending. They're very heavy research and lots of line art. Okay, I need to stop adding highlights though. It just looks so nice. We are going to do a highlight layer if we have time. Let's do it. Yeah, I like this little navigator thumbnail. It actually, I use it a lot to zoom really quickly around to my picture and also see that see the thumbnail version of it, of the piece, to make sure that darks and lights are doing what I want them to do. Oh, question that I almost missed. I don't... Oh, it's weird. I kind of do a mixed media approach to the Art Nouveau pieces. They start out digitally, where I plan all the line art. I do that all digitally. Then I actually transfer it by hand onto the watercolor paper. And then do all the inking and painting by hand. So I use the digital part of the process to more easily do geometric elements and plan pieces. Because it's just easier to do a lot of, oh, that's my timer. No, I don't want to stop. Just a little more. But yeah, I actually have some videos up about how I put together those pieces on my YouTube, which my YouTube name is just Angelic Shades, or just look up Angela Sasser, it should pop up. But yeah, I talk about how I switch back and forth between Photoshop and all that stuff. just want to bring in a little more detail to these hands before I let go. Okay, awesome. I didn't realize that some people were actually coming from YouTube as well, so that's cool to know that the YouTube multi-streaming that I do is actually bringing in the YouTube's people. Zoom out for a minute here. I really do need to stop though, because I have another sketch I need to work on, and I've got to get up early tomorrow. And I really could just keep going on this forever, because he's fun. Elves are awesome. I wasn't actually planning on getting these printed up, but if people like them and the creators of the pieces don't mind, I might consider it. Oh, and the other cheating finishing touch that I like to do, cheater tip, I like to add this grain texture on top. Because it adds a nice handmade effect, or like traditionally drawn effect to the pieces. And a little bit more visual interest since Photoshop has a way of flattening. And I, as a traditional artist, I'm primarily a traditional artist, I like to bring in that hand-drawn touch whenever I can. And no, I'm actually not drawing from reference on this one. This was just going from my head, which is probably why she probably looks like some of my elvish characters. I did have a bit of facial reference for her sister though, which let's see if I have her, I used this model as facial well, of course you can't see it. This model as facial inspiration, because I really liked her strong features, and then the whole presence of this piece was just really inspiring. So that was a good springboard for her. But hopefully I've done her sister good, I've done her some justice just using my brain's stash of character anatomy. So yeah, I hope you like it, Lion. These characters have been a lot of fun, and the written descriptions for them are really awesome. So, Lion, you should definitely link your work, because I think people would enjoy your written descriptions of these gals too, because they just sound really cool. And if you have any stories about them, I actually would be curious about more. I'm glad you can tell they're sisters. Alright, so yay, thanks for oh yeah, to review for those who came in later, these were actually Patreon sketches for Lioness is in the Twitch chat, I think. And he is one of my sketch collectors. And the sketch collector tier is $35, and you can pay to usurp my muse to draw your character. And all the slots for that are full right now, but you can keep an eye on the Patreon if you wanted to get a little quick commission in there, which I think there might be one slot opening up in October. So yep, these are quick Patreon sketches. I get an hour to work on your idea. So thanks for joining in. It's been awesome to have viewers in. I hope you learned something and enjoyed watching the sketch come to life. And maybe I'll catch you guys later. I'm gonna try to be on more regularly and actually have my mic going. 'Cause it's fun to ramble at you guys. Yay, thanks for joining, and maybe I'll see your matte painting stream sometime. Definitely keep in touch about that. That would be really cool. But I'm gonna go to bed so I can get up early and sell some yard sale stuff. So thank you for joining me. And maybe I'll catch you guys later. And remember, if you'd like to see more art, you can go to angelasasser.com and see more art. But y'all have a good night, have a good weekend, and I will see you next time. Wishing you all inspiration.